Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special guest, my sister Tina. Tina also has a YouTube channel, so before we get into this topic today, I'm gonna let her plug her channel.
Hi, I'm Tina, and my channel is Random Tina 1029. There's a space between the random and the Tina, and I do plant-related videos such as plant care, plant hauls, and tours and things of the like for the LA area.
Okay, so you all go over and check her page out, like, share, subscribe,
Yes.
all of that good stuff, okay? And at the end of this video or anywhere in between, you can do the same for mine. Also, drop a comment. So let's get into it. Today, I wanted to talk about self-worth in the workplace. And the topic really came about because recently I received a promotion at work. And I posted on Instagram thanking my daughter Khadijah for really helping me like find my voice in the workplace. Because for forever, really, I have always been like that background person. I've always been that person where people come in my office and close the door. What should I do? What do you think? Or I come up with ideas, and then in meetings I hear the ideas, but Twyla's name is not attached to the idea, or I feel like people don't really value me in the workplace. So, with having this conversation with Khadijah, I was expressing to her like my frustration, just really saying, like I make my supervisor look good. Like I think that's what people hire you to do, like higher ups. They want you to make them look good because the reality is they are not about to do all the work. So, and my thing is, I probably would consider myself a bit of a workaholic. I love to like be in a mix and learning stuff and everything. Um, but I have just gotten to the point where uh, I want you to pay me for my work. Uh, and it came about, like I said, with the conversation with my daughter Khadijah. She was just like, why don't you ever ask for like what you want? Like this happens every time. People always depend on you for stuff. People always want to know your opinion. If something jumps off at work, and it's really like a client that's out of hand, they come and get Twyla. Like that's just the reality. It's always been like that. And I've just never asked. So that day, like she had got me pumped. So I went to my supervisor and I was like, look, I do a lot around here. I do a lot of your job around here. And I honestly feel like even a CEO, like she says my name, like she'll ask my supervisor something and then turn around and be like, Twyla, what do you think? What do you want to do? So I'm like, I feel like a rag doll. I feel like you all take me off the shelf, you play with me when you want to, and then you put me back on the shelf. And I'm like, I'm not okay with that. So literally, I had like these papers that were sitting on the desk, and I just slid them over to the other side and was like, you can have those. You can have all your responsibilities back. I think I'm gonna just stay within my pay range and my job description, and we gonna just keep it like that. Like I felt so empowered by that. Like, no, you can have your job back. Like, I'm good. I'm gonna just do what I do, and I'm gonna get up and go home. And I could see like the shock in his face. It was just kind of like, okay, what are we doing? No, what we're doing is setting clear boundaries. Like, I have clear boundaries with people, but I've never had them with the workplace. And that day, like, Khadijah had me pumped, and I was just like, what you gonna do about it? So, one of my put down in the comments like you should make this a video topic, and I was like, that's a great idea, because like why do we do that? Why do we downplay our self-worth in the workplace? What do you think?
I think it's a fear of kind of fear of rejection. They're gonna tell you no. As far as like promotions and things like that, not at this particular job, but a job that I had previously, I actually applied for a supervisory position and didn't get it. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way as well, because I was working in an office that I had a little bit more education than the other people, and somebody else, I still got looked over. So that also will push you away from asking for anything, because it's like they're not going to give it to you. You just have that fear of rejection, or you just don't think that you're worth it after getting passed over enough times for promotions and things like that. You just don't feel like it's ever going to be a good time to ask for it.
I definitely can relate to that. I'm sure everybody out there can relate to that in one way or another. But what I was really thinking about is, how did I get to a place where I didn't feel like speaking up about my self-worth in the workplace? Because I always like to be really insightful. I consider myself to be really insightful about myself. And I equated to how we were raised, our generation. I'm not just saying my sister and I raised in my mom's house. I feel like our generation grew up with the thought process of, you find a job, a good job with benefits, and you retire.
Basically.
That's it. Not even a career, a job, good benefits, retire. And I think a lot of that stuck.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
A lot of that stuck, but you have to think about the generation before us. That's what they actually did. So yeah, that's what we saw, and that's what we thought was the goal. But these millennials have basically changed that up all the way.
Yeah, and I'm here for it. Baby, look, I am here for
it. They changed that up.
And I think for me, a lot of it had to do with that was just a generation that we grew up in, because the generation before us, that's what they did, right? So they instilled in us what they did. They instilled in us what they knew, because it was instilled in them. And then I feel that's just what people did. But I think a lot of it for me was not only the instilling part, but also always being compared to my sister. We are 14 months apart. So a lot of times I always had the teacher after her. And just hearing oh, you're nothing like your sister, that, I didn't realize how impactful that can be. Because yes, I am very different. No, I'm nothing like my sister. I'm Twyla. I'm my own individual. What the fuck did you think?
I didn't know
what's gonna happen. It's happened forever. Even teachers that were not I didn't get them after her. If they just saw me, that would be the thing. That was always the thing. You're nothing like your sister. Duh. I'm not supposed to be. What do you want? And I feel after so long of hearing that, okay, I'm gonna really show you I'm nothing like my sister. So and people always, what they always meant by that was, Tina is very academic, right? Always had a book, always reading a dictionary, just learning stuff was just on her to-do list. Not so much with me, because learning was always a struggle. It wasn't that I couldn't do it. It was just that some things I just didn't get as fast as her, which I think frustrated a lot of people, because it's just damn, your sister get it, why don't you get it? And it's because we're two different people. So I think that had a lot to do with how I showed up in the workplace. Not even consciously, like subconsciously, I believe that's how I showed up. Like people are always going, compare me to the next person, so I won't apply for that job, or they'll always think that that person is smarter. I'm not even just realizing, like, but girl, they always coming to you,
Right.
like,
Right.
so
So, and that's really weird because I got like the complete opposite. Nobody ever, I knew who the heck I was until they would say, "Aren't you Twyla's sister?" Oh, no, she's mine. I'm older, but that's not the point. Because she was more of a social butterfly than I am or was. She was, I did not hang out with a lot of people. I hung out with books. It was ridiculous, but whatever. But even like now, I don't know that. So the types of jobs, I've only had a couple of jobs where there was, say, upward mobility as far as, moving up in the company. At the job that I'm at now, I'm a nurse. So there are 4 nurses and there's a lead nurse. I could never be that nurse, not because of anything. I don't think that I'm not good enough. It's just I'm an LVN and she's an RN. I don't ever see an LVN being a boss of an RN. I just don't see that happening. But I love my job, and it's like if I went somewhere else, what would I be doing? I like that I feel like I am valued at my job, very much so. So I've never really had the feeling that I wasn't, well, not since working in an office, not a medical office, where I didn't feel like my worth was being appreciated at all. I've not been in one of those kind of jobs since the early 2000s. But getting back to these millennials and the way they have changed the workplace completely, these people don't let any grass grow under their feet.
Not a blade. Not a blade.
They will shake you in a minute and they don't think twice about it. And I think it's awesome that they do that they have the luxury of doing that. Had that been instilled in the previous generation, I'm pretty sure that, a lot of these Gen Xers, I'm not saying that Gen Xers aren't doing well, because we're not doing as well as some of these millennials. But yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. It's just it's a completely different world for them.
Yeah.
Than it is for, say, a Gen Xer.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I was having a conversation with Khadijah, like prior to doing this video, because I really wanted her to be in on this video, on this discussion, but she didn't want to be on camera, and I totally respect that. But I was like, I really respect your generation, because you all, if you don't like a job, like, you guys would be like, I'm out.
Skirt.
I'm out. If you walk into a job and they say, how much you looking to make, like, they have no problem being like 30. Like,
what?
It be dead ass 30. Okay? And it's like, okay.
And they don't get turned down.
That's the thing. Like, they don't get turned down. And I'm like, okay, you went in there, you asked for $30 an hour with a straight face, with a bachelor's degree, and got it.
And didn't blink.
And they don't have a problem telling you, like, that's just the job that I work to make my bills, and to travel. I'm not putting too much work into that. I'm putting all the work into my passion projects. And when my daughter said that, look, one part of me just fell out laughing, but the other part of me was so proud. Like, yes, like, no, I'm not about to give you 110%. I'm about to give you these 8 hours. I'm gonna do my job, but this is not like the end all be all. Like, I'm trying to create, I'm trying to be my own boss, and I'm going to give all of my energy to that. So once, I clock out with you, bye. If I don't like it, bye. And like, don't even have another job, but they have so much confidence and so much faith. Like,
they have no fear whatsoever.
I left that job and didn't have another job, but guess what? In the next week, I'm gonna have a job, and they have it. Like, I feel like we, as in Gen X, need to embody that. Like, I feel like when I walked into that office, I embodied Gen X. Like, what are you gonna do? This is what I want. This is, and I think it's important to like sit down and structure all the things that you bring to the table. And when I did that, I didn't even realize like how much stuff I do, because when you're doing it, you're just doing it. You don't really think about it. You do it every day. But once I wrote it down, because I had to write it down, because I'm the type, like, I'll let so much stuff go on for so long, and then when I do say something, it's like word vomit. I just be like, now what? And I knew I couldn't go in there like that. So just writing everything down, I'm like, I really do a lot around here. So, this is another point I want to make, and tell me if you agree. I think that hearing so much, like, I feel like it's just ingrained in us. Men make more money. African American women are at the low totem pole of pay. I don't think it's like that now. I think it might be Latin women. Anyway, women of color. So it's just like, that's another component that just makes you just kind of be like, I'm not going to ask. But what generation the millennials are doing now, like with Black Lives Matter and the different protests, has really changed like my thoughts on a lot of things. Like, I didn't care about going into that office of the CEO and sitting down and saying, look, at this day and age, like, I feel like I should be in this position, and these are the reasons why, with a straight face, and was like, okay. And
tears what it is.
Yeah. And then for her to look at me and was like, okay. It's just like, okay, you can have it.
Hey.
So
that I could never have done it. I don't think that I could ever have done it personally, but because I know me, because my word vomit is gonna be laced with some cuss words.
Mine was laced with cuss words. Look,
that might get me fired. So yeah, I'm gonna be quiet over here.
No,
but again, I'm not saying that. I personally don't think I could have done what you did. I just don't.
But why though? I think this is the reason why we're doing this video. It's because, like, why? I really feel like we are not unicorns in this situation. It's other people out here that are dealing with the same issues. Yeah. And the premise of doing this channel is to figure out, like, why and what tools do we need to start developing to get out of this mindset of, they're just gonna overlook me. It's other people more qualified, or I know they're not more qualified, or they're well liked or whatever. These are the things that right. I feel like are important.
So I think literally it is I don't want to be told no.
Well, I mean, who does? And I could attest that was one of my issues too. But I say this: people can only say yes or no. And if people say no and it makes you feel some kind of way, move around. And I know that's easier said than done. I am the type that I have stayed at jobs that I was not necessarily happy with because I don't like looking for other jobs. I don't like the interviewing process. Even though I think I interview well, I just don't like the whole process of it. It brings me anxiety, which is a whole different battle for me. So I just kind of like stay away from it. I used to. Now, if I'm unhappy about something, bye, I'm gone.
Right.
But I was talking to my therapist about it, and I was just like, no, I'm not gonna say anything. And she was just like, why wouldn't you say anything? And I was like, girl, I've been homeless before. I'm not trying to go down that aisle no more. Like, I don't want to do that. And she was like, so when was that? And I was like, okay, my daughter's 26. Like 23 years ago. And she was like, Twyla,
it can happen again, though. Don't ever get
it can look. It can happen. However, 23 years ago, I didn't have 3 degrees.
Right. That's true.
You know,
That's
23
true.
years ago, like, I was not the same person that I am now. Yes,
right.
Homelessness is real. It can happen to any one of us. But the likelihood of having 3 degrees and my profession is a social worker, like I can walk out of one and walk right into another one the next day.
And same,
you know,
with the nurse.
But it was the mindset. It was a mindset. And when she said it, she was like, do you realize, like, you were living something that happened 23 years ago, and the likelihood of it happening right now is slim to none. And you are paralyzing yourself about a past experience. And it was like,
they never thought about it like that, though.
I didn't either.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's always in the back of my mind that if anything ever happens, sure, I can find another job. I may not like the job, but I could pretty much find one pretty quickly because nurse. But I never ever thought about it like you just said it. Never once. Never came to my mind.
My therapist is the bomb, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, hey.
Everybody should have one.
Well, yes,
a therapist should be a prerequisite to life. So, but I feel like we need to narrow it down. What tips, advice would we give people? One thing I would say is to write down all the things that you do for that company. Because it shows what you bring to the table.
Yeah. And then I would say do a test run on somebody close to you, how you would present that to the person that you're wanting to ask for it for, so that you can kind of polish it, make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's before you go in there, because nothing like missing a cross T. And then they're like, no, but then you think about, I didn't say. And then you should have said. You don't want to live that shoulda, woulda, coulda thing. You just don't want to do that.
Absolutely, you don't. I would also say, find out, like, really sit with yourself, go back and figure out what is the thing that you have been telling yourself or that happened that led to the point. Like I shared that a big part of me was having a sister that everybody wanted to compare me to. So that just carried on into adulthood, into careers and everything like that. And now, like, I have really shed that. Like, I'm my own individual. I'm just as accomplished as my sister,
More accomplished.
We are both accomplished. I'm not doing that.
I'm not going to listen. I still have not shared that you're the more social of the two of us. I still have not really shared that yet.
I think that's a different video.
That's weird. That I didn't even know that was a thing with you. But yeah, that's absolutely another video. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like stepping out on faith, looking for other jobs, you know, even though you might not want to leave that one, but if they're not going to give you what you want, then maybe it's seeing what other people have to offer. You know, like my sister said, springboarding on other people, you know, role playing it with other people. Another thing I wanted to mention, I wanted to tell this little incident that happened. So, one of my other jobs, I was in a management position, and I had been there like for some years, and I had seen people like get promoted, and I always felt some kind of way about it. Like, I've been here longer than all of these people. You don't even ask me to, like, I can't even have a seat at the table. And like I told them, you don't even entertain me and say, Twyla, would you like to apply for this job? Even if you have in your mind that you're gonna give it to the other person, like, damn, don't just feel like
I'm not here.
Yeah, like I'm not here and like I don't bring any value to the table. So I did end up getting a promotion, and honestly, like, it was a great experience for me. It was very painful and hurtful, but at the end of the day, it was a great experience. But I felt like they gave me the job, like, because they didn't want me to leave, but it was kind of like a pity kind of thing. I don't know. It was weird. And it was weird for my colleagues to see, you know, now I'm like supervising them. And it was this one particular person that she had a hard time with it. Like, she was just like, you should go for it. You're awesome. She always would come to me for advice. Anything that she didn't know, she would come to me. But once I became, you know, her supervisor, it was a problem. It was a problem.
Wow.
So an incident happened where one of her clients had passed away. And I got the phone call that the client had passed away. Really didn't get any information. So I bring her in to tell her about it. And I'm like, so when's the last time you saw him? And she immediately jumped, like, very, like, guarded. And I was just like, something's not right here. So I don't want to make this too long. But the long story short, I was just like, something is not right about this. So I did my investigation, come to find out, like, she had not been seeing her clients. And I was telling, like, the supervisor, like, something is not right. This girl ended up, like, going to HR saying I had thrown grease on her. I actually had given, like, the whole office, it was like 4th of July, like a hamburger hot dog thing, but I brought my air fryer, so there was no grease involved. It's an air fryer. But she told them, like, I threw grease on her and all of this old kind of stuff, right? And they, like, really just, like, hem me up, like, for real on some, and I really felt like it was, like, she really pulled the race card on me. She really did. And I had to go through all kind of stuff, like, all kind of stuff to get rid of, like, to prove that, like, I didn't throw no grease on the girl. It was an air fryer, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, but what was crazy about it was I felt like I did not have a voice in the place because nobody looked like me, you know? And I did not want to say, yeah, I didn't want to say that because I didn't want to.
You don't ever want to throw up the race card.
Yeah, you never want to do it, even though you know. And it's just like, I know y'all not black, but y'all don't see this. Like, I don't want to say it, but damn, if somebody don't say it. So
man, that's hilarious. Wow.
She end up sending me somewhere to another department. she ended up leaving the company, period. And I just felt like you wanted her to stay, but you didn't want to be able to draw a line and say, no, she is your immediate supervisor. This is going to happen. So you just want to tuck me away like, right. Oh, we're not going to take we're just going to put you over here.
We're going to separate you.
Yeah. And I think that.
Which is childish.
Which is just downright wrong. But I tell this story just to simply say that I feel like that's another catalyst to why people don't speak up, because when there's no representation of you, you just kind of feel like, well, I have no argument in this, not an argument, but I have no.
You don't feel like you have enough pull.
Yes.
Okay.
So
that seems legit.
Yeah. All of this might get edited out because I don't know if it even. Yeah, I just wanted to tell that story though.
That was funny though.
I was look, and then come to find out, I had already left the company, and I get a phone call and was like, Twyla, you were so right. Like, this girl was doing all kind of X, Y, and Z, and I was just like, one part of me was like, but I told you all, and you didn't want to believe me because
we ain't gonna say it out loud.
Yeah. So, but the other half of me was so irritated.
But then, didn't you kind of feel like a sense of relief that you were vindicated in what you were saying?
No.
No?
Okay. No, oddly enough, no, I didn't. I was messed up for a couple of days because it was like, nobody asked me, like, so what makes you say this? Mm-hmm. So I could show them, like, actual proof that these things had happened. It was just kind of like, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. But you keep wanting me to talk to HR. Like, y'all just want to keep interrogating me about something that did not happen.
Grease on somebody.
Yeah, but I don't know. You want to share anything else? Any other?
No,
I feel like
this was productive though. Hilariously productive, because that story.
It was a mess. It was a mess. She totally pulled the race card on me. I mean, she didn't hold back at all. She just morphed right into a Karen on me with, like, she didn't hold back. She's just like, oh,
and I speak to the manager.
Like, she was just like, oh, this one right here, I already know she's smart because I go to her for everything, right? She know what time it is. I know I better start screaming and hollering so somebody will come and save me because she gonna embarrass me and I'm gonna lose my job. It was just like, sis, like, ooh.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's real
but
funny.
What wasn't funny was that nobody tried to have a voice for me.
No, and
it was like, girl,
ridiculous.
you on your own.
That's ridiculous. But the thing of it is like, eventually, hopefully, people will learn that we should be listened to, because most of the time we're telling the truth. Now, I'm not going to act like black women don't ever lie, because of course. But on some important stuff like that, like not seeing a client, why would I lie about thinking that this person hadn't been seeing her client? Or why didn't you ask me for my reasoning for thinking that, or something like that? To me, that is dereliction of duty.
Yeah. So, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to just tell it all. So, come to find out, because, look, I still feel some kind of way about it. Come to find out, she had another client that she was putting money in this client's account. Put money in this client's account, and saying, like, it was some old DV stuff, whatever. She had left the company. The client comes and was like, I need help with my rent. We like, because I had already left. Why? And he was like, because the Social Security cut me off because I had too much money in my bank account. so now I don't have money to pay my rent. And they were like, well, why did you have too much money? And if you have too much money, just pay the rent. He was like, no, it wasn't mine. It was hers.
Oh, she was.
I tried to tell them. I tried. I tried.
Folks gonna learn.
This video went. It went the other way. But look, I've been holding that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot right there. That
Man.
Listen.
Ethics were in a negative, okay? But
Does she still have a license?
girl, no, I don't. Well, I don't know. At that time, she didn't have her license, so I don't know if she got it or what. Because I'm sure they didn't report her to the BBS because she like this and not like this.
Okay.
Shout out to Funky Donita. Okay, this video is
long and funny.
It is.
Funny.
It is.
I like
But
it.
thank you for coming to do this video with me. I feel like this video has probably given life to a couple of more videos, being that we told stuff that neither one of us even knew. So,
Right.
yeah. So you want...
Come on over to Random Tina 1029. So next week, you know, my sister is also the family interior decorator.
The family?
The family. No, it's me and you.
You
It's me
extra.
and you.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was about to say, what?
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
just me
you
and
put 40 on it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But I want her to come and help me redo my bedroom in my apartment. My apartment I've had my furniture a long time. We're just gonna say a long time. So it's time to buy some new stuff. And she's gonna come over to my channel and she's gonna help me and we're gonna figure out how I can also get plants in my room.
Okay.
It's dark in there.
We'll see how
Random
this is
Tina.
gonna go, because you know I like faux plants. But Random Tina 1029. So if you like this video, leave a comment. If you have any suggestions for people that don't know their worth in the workplace, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe. Until later,
Bye.
bye.